Hi, welcome back to the League-Kempner House in Galveston. I'm Janie, and I'm the president of the nonprofit set up to restore and preserve this incredible house. We hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving with family and friends. It's been very busy here, and let's just talk about kind of the elephant in the room, my injury. I am mobile. Fortunately, they put on a walking boot and I can walk, and I just got this cool little thing yesterday in the mail. It's like a lift for my shoe to get me even. Otherwise, I was walking all wonky and it was very hard to get around. This has made it much better and will be easier on my hips and knees. I have to wear this for 6 to 8 weeks. So not fun, but I'm mobile and I can stand. It doesn't do anything to slow down the healing process for me to stand. I would say it doesn't hurt to stand, but that would be the correct use of the word, but not in the way I intended. It's a little sore and still pretty swollen, but I'm very functional. I can even drive some and take it off, but it's a bit of a pain in the neck to get it on and off. So Joe's been taking me around to do errands and my daughter, but it's given me time to be at home. We haven't been able to go to the house, unfortunately. The weather's been glorious most days, but I've occupied myself here getting ready for Dickens on the Strand. And I think I mentioned it in another video, but if you don't know what Dickens is, if you're not from Galveston, it's a big festival that the Galveston Historical Foundation puts on, and people dress in period costume. There's vendors, there's food. It's all about Christmas and celebrating Christmas and the architecture of downtown Galveston. That's how it started. But it's really grown to be a pretty big festival. And now there's 35 to 40,000 people that come. I think it's weather dependent. GHF has offered nonprofits a free booth. The catch is you have to vend product. And we really couldn't pass up the opportunity to get in front of that many people. So we've been frantically scurrying around to get product to have in the booth. And one of the things we were working on, which we were going to do anyway, to put a few of these in our online stores, but we've been creating some Christmas ornaments. I've got just a couple little tiny samples I just did yesterday. This is all wood that was salvaged from the ceiling of the sunroom. And I don't know what kind of wood it is. It's super lightweight. Even the larger ornaments that we have hardly weigh anything. But I've been painting. Our volunteer Wendy's been painting. Our board member Stephanie's been painting. And there's a whole variety. They're now on our online store. And thank you to everybody that's been out there buying them. Some of them have already sold out, but we're trying to get some more created and up there. I'm working on some stuff today. I'll show you in a second. But another thing we're hoping to do with Dickens is with the booth, provide information about the house and drive some of those people over to tour. So a different volunteer, Wendy, has been decorating the entire house for Christmas, and it's looking fabulous. So if you're in Galveston in the month of December, come by and see us. We're going to try to be open for tours most of the month with our holiday theme. But since I haven't been working, I wanted to show you a little bit of this, but also go back and follow up on a couple things. The first is that blue bathroom. We put that video out there, I don't know, it's been several months ago now, asking for your opinion on should it stay or should it go. And I have tallied up the results and I'm going to show you those. But let me show you quickly what's been going on here. These are oyster shells that I've been preparing, and the goal was to clean them up, drill a hole, and then do a transfer. And you've probably seen these on Pinterest or online. You can take napkins and Mod Podge and make like a decal and put in and decorate the oyster shell. Well, we're trying to do the same thing, but with a picture of the house. Elizabeth George painted us this gorgeous picture of the house, and I've printed it out. There's a way to turn it into a decal, and I've selected the flattest ones to put the picture on. And I did a test. It looked terrible in my brain. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. Well, when you do it, you have to reverse the image. So the house was actually flipped, and my brain couldn't understand why it looked so weird and so odd. So I'm going to go back and flip the image and try again and do that. But the hard part's been getting the hole in there. So this was my little setup I've been working with. I had a little bowl and put them in water because the drill bit gets very hot when you drill something like this, and you really need a masonry bit. So I had a little assortment of different bits to try, and I've settled on this one. Seems to work the best, and it's something called a blue granite. It's a true masonry bit. And it worked pretty fast once I tested all. Of course, it was the very last one I tested, but it works pretty well. The problem is sometimes it punches through too quick, and I put a hole in the bottom of my little Healthy Choice steamer bowl. No, I had a wood underneath it, but it flooded the counter. So I've got a new setup I'm trying out. I've decided to go into the kitchen sink and put a piece of wood down inside of a pan so that when I drill through, let's see if I can do this. Oh, it's a floater. When I drill through, it'll go into the wood. And there's not a lot of flow of water, so I have to cool my bit every once in a while. If I go through the wood and go through my pan, I'm going to be upset because I've had it since college, so it's
maybe pick a different.
It's pan. Very it's half a century old.
And you'll go through your sink.
Whoop, there we go. Let's see, that wasn't very hard. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to scrub and clean all these up. Stephanie's coming over Tuesday to help me decorate my house for Christmas because I can go upstairs great. Coming down takes a very long time. But I'm also working on practicing molding some of the pieces from the cornice. So I ordered just a small amount of it's not pourable silicone, but it makes like a putty to make a mold and pour a flower. It works pretty well. One little edge broke off, but I may make some of these and put them on some boards and gild them. But I've got all kinds of little projects. I've been polishing stuff. I've been cleaning copper. This is copper wire that came from the original electric service to the house. It's probably been replaced at some point, but my guess is it's almost 100 years old. It was just black and gross, so I've been soaking it in vinegar, and about 3 hours in vinegar. I use this face because it doesn't take as much vinegar to do, but you can see how it took the patina off the copper and it made it that pretty blue color. So there's no lack of stuff to do. I'm going to scrub these up and work on this today. But let's get to that blue bathroom and show you the results of the survey. I was really blown away by the results. Hi, welcome back to the League-Kempner House here in Galveston. I'm Janie, and before we get into a lot of work today, I want to back up a little bit and give you some feedback on all your great comments on the blue bathroom right behind this door. So for those of you that didn't see that video, you might want to go take a look. But for those of you that did, let's go film in this gym itself. If Joe and I can both fit in here together. We may be a little echoey.
Let me do a 360.
Here, I'll just get over here as far away from the camera as I can. So I'm standing in the bathtub to get as far away from the camera as I can. First of all, thank you for the comments. Not only were you passionate about everything, but everybody was very thoughtful, and I love that you took the time to write out a lot about your reasoning and rationale. But I did do a very scientific tally of all the comments, and I personally was shocked by the results. And I tried very hard not to kind of telegraph my thoughts on this bathroom to you in the video because I wanted to see what you had to say about it. So let me go ahead and give you my opinion, or what used to be my opinion. But I was kind of going on the side of this is too jarring for the overall feel of the house, and that something needed to be done to modify it, to just slightly get rid of a little bit of the overpowering blue. And my thought was to do some kind of a white patterned floor, but leave the rest of the blue intact and just work with it. And the toilet, I think, is just adorable. We didn't talk about it in detail, but I want to show you real quick. It's one piece. The tank is actually molded into the bowl, and it's an American standard. And some of you commented about the toilet seat, about painting it or getting a new one. And this is getting back to me loving the internet. I had already found a place online that can recreate just about any toilet color in a matching seat. And I'm going to reach out to them because another comment I got from you guys was about trying to do a better job of dating when this might have been put in. And the sink is very standard. It was made for many, many years, but the toilet is somewhat unique. So I think the toilet may be the key to dating this bathroom. So, but let me cut the suspense and kind of tell you where everybody landed. There were 52 for keeping everything exactly as it is and just trying to clean it up and keep it. There were 13 on the modify it, kind of the camp I was in, and tone down the blue just a little bit, but keep the majority of it in place. There were 28 that said gut it out and put something more period to the house in it. There were 8 that wanted it to come out and have the porch go back, which I would love that too. That would actually be my very first choice, but I think I talked in the video, that's a very expensive choice and something that we just don't have the funds in the foreseeable future, or probably my lifetime, to do. But it is a consideration, as I think I talked about. One of the things we look at is, are we doing something today that would keep us from doing something in the future? So if we want the opportunity to remove the enclosed walls of the porch and put it back, is doing something here going to affect that? And I had a few thoughts on that. There were a couple there were actually 4 that said take it out, put the walk-through windows back, and just have it open to the enclosed porch so that it has kind of the feel of the porch that it had before, even though it's enclosed. So when I add those up, and there were 3 that said I should go ahead and put a bathroom on the other side, that little small bathroom, so that the big primary bedroom has the private bath. So when I add those up, that's 52 for keeping and 49 for modifying it or replacing it with something, period. So it's pretty close to a tie. And I have to say there were very strong opinions on the remove it and the keep side, and then many more that were in the middle that would like to keep it but understood if it needed to go, and a lot of reasoning back and forth. So let me address some of the comments that y'all put on there. One was the age. How old is it? Because I made the comment on the porch or the sunroom, that it's over 100 years old. So in my mind, that's attained some historical significance. And y'all pointed out that if we date this not to the late 40s, early 50s, but earlier to say the 30s, that it's approaching 100 years old, that it could be 80 plus 90 years old. So does it have historical significance in and of itself? So that's a very good point and something to be considered. And another reason why we'll work hard to date this toilet and see just how old it is. A lot of you that voted for keeping it said that it represented the changes in time, that it was part of the history of the house and told the story of the house. And since the house had been, pretty majorly changed with that addition and the closing in of the porch, that this is just another step in the evolution of the house. So that kind of gets back to, what do we want to be as a museum? Are we telling the story of the house? Are we picking points in time and restoring back to it? But it's a very excellent point to make. There were 7 comments in there intermingled between other votes to stay or go about, could it be dismantled and moved and reassembled in the basement so that it could stay with the house in the condition it's in, but just not be here. And I'll talk about that in just a second. The toilet seat we talked about. Many of you mentioned that you felt strongly one way or the other, but you also recognized a lot of the more nuanced things that go into the decision, like what condition is it in? Is the plumbing good? Is it functional? Does it need a lot of work? What's it going to take to keep it? And there are some issues with that I'll talk about. The other was the cost, that you might like to see it go, but you recognize that could be very, very expensive, and we do have things that are a much higher priority to work on, so maybe it should just stay, because nothing is ever permanent. We could, decide to take this out 15 years from now, but it could stay now. The other is timing, and I want to talk to you about timing because fortunately there's no rush to make a decision here. This is going to be a very tough decision. I thought it was going to be an easy decision. I thought y'all would overwhelmingly say get rid of it or modify it. I was not expecting such a strong response to keep it. And as I've talked about before, this is no longer my house. This is a nonprofit. I get to shepherd the nonprofit as president, but the goal of the nonprofit is to open this as a house museum and invite the public in. And we have to be very mindful of what you as the public want to see and what you expect when you get here. So your opinion matters, which is one reason I asked the question, because I can't make a decision in a vacuum. I need to understand what you want, what the people coming to the house want to see. So fortunately, I might have 2 or 3 years before we have to address that problem. So let me tell you why. One is we don't have plumbing anywhere in the house, and there's 3 major plumbing stacks that have to be put in. The first one's going in over in the chauffeur's apartment. It will pick up the pink bathroom, the blue bathroom on the 3rd floor, the bathroom, half bath in the gift shop downstairs. So it gets us the most bang for the buck. So it will be first. The second stack is the one that goes up from the kitchen, the butler's pantry, and into the family bathroom. We need that one if we're going to have events in the house, because we need a functioning kitchen. We need sinks, we need dishwashers, we need to be able to mop the floor. So that one is our second priority. And those all come off that main sewer line that you saw us put into the street. This is the only thing on this stack. Well, potentially 3 things on this stack. We're looking at putting a sink in the attic so that we can have classes up there, but that's far down the road. There is the little lavatory sink area in the primary bathroom that could feed into this stack, but this is really the only thing on this stack, and we did not finish the line that comes here. It comes down the side of the house and stops, so we still have to bring it up to the house, which will be a few $1,000s, and then we have to get it up here. So this will be pricey, and it only gets us this bathroom. So it is way, way, way down on the list. The other question a lot of you had about, could this be taken down? Well, let's go on the other side and look at something real quick. The tile on the walls is embedded in a concrete mortar bed. That tile is impossible to remove intact, and it's probably impossible to remove it in big sections. So if we tried to move this bathroom, it would be destroyed. The only things we could save would be the sink, the toilet, and the bathtub. So if we move it, we lose the walls. So the short answer is no, it can't be moved. We can reuse the fixtures, but we can't reuse this wall tile. So as much as I'd love to move it, I think that's a fabulous idea. It's not really an option at all.
You can use all this stuff too, right? Maybe.
That Joe just pointed out, I don't know if you can hear, but you know, would I lose my little fixtures here? I might be able to cut that out with a diamond blade and remove the back of it very carefully and preserve those. It would be hard, but not impossible. But the wall tile, no, that's just a goner. Oh, one more thing that somebody mentioned is, do we need this? Would we ever be an Airbnb and have people staying up here continually? And the answer to that is no. As a house museum, we would not run the space as an Airbnb. It would be very difficult, and Airbnbs are not that profitable. I ran one at the Lucas Apartments. That's why I switched and went to long-term tenants. It's very hard to manage. It's very difficult. It's hard on the house. And I realized maybe we could be more selective here, but it's probably not something we're going to do in the long run. But yes, events, weddings, things like that, maybe having a bride and groom stay overnight. We definitely need functioning facilities up here on this floor. We do have that other option of the pink bathroom. So that big east bedroom, Daisy's bedroom, could be the bridal room, and potentially we could put the groomsmen back in the bedroom and use the family bathroom. But this would be nice to have a groom's room, but it's not necessary to have this functioning anytime soon. So again, y'all had some great questions. Oh, one other comment I got quite a bit was, is the weight of this damaging to the porch and the weight of the walls? And I think the answer to that is no. That porch has shifted, but it's not because of the weight here. The weight here is very close to the foundation walls on two sides. It's not cantilevered that much. It's not putting a lot of pressure on that porch, and the walls are not that heavy. We do have some other things going on, but I don't think it's caused by the construction here. But that was a very good question too, because it did change the initial design of the house, and that, you know, can always be a problem, as we saw people cutting out joist and everything behind the bathroom on the third floor. So anyway, thank y'all so much for your feedback. It'll definitely be considered. We'll definitely work on trying to document and come up with the date of this bathroom. Thanks for all your opinions on the bathroom. Like I said, I was really blown away. You guys were passionate, if nothing else. So it is going to be a very hard call. Fortunately, as I said, I don't have to make that decision right away. Joe and I filmed a little more of this video, but it cut off and I don't know where it went. But I did have one other thought about the bathroom originally, and that's as I'm redoing Uncle Lee's bedroom, to do something around the fireplace that ties in the blue of the bathroom so that it's not just so out there. If you recall, that bedroom, we lost almost that whole fireplace. It has to be redone from scratch. A lot of the tile was broken, so it's an opportunity to use the remaining tile, but maybe do an inset border of some authentic Victorian tile with some blue in it. I've looked and looked and looked online, and light blue is not a Victorian color. So there are one or two things I found out there, but it's very difficult. But I'm going to keep looking for that. But this, I was playing around with the wire. I twisted it in the shape and hammered it flat. Joe said I should make bookmarks, and I copied it off Etsy. It's a little free form, but you slip it in between your pages and it hooks on your book. And here's another one, heart shape, but it hasn't been pounded yet. I've moved over to my messy craft table to show you the second thing I wanted to follow up on. This comes from a very long time ago, and I apologize for not doing it sooner, but one thing with this foot keeping me home is I've had time to go through all my scraps of papers and notes and things that I write to myself, and one of them was a reminder to follow up on the video where I had laid out on the dining room table at the house all the bits and bobs and things that we found in the yard and around the house, and had saved to see about identifying them and where they go in the house. And a couple of the things on the table were these items. One was this kind of brass or bronze hinged piece that's got like this finial on top. Some of you thought it might be part of a light. There were a lot of guesses on that. Then the second thing were two of these iron bars that have this flattened end on one side, and it's actually got a threaded section on the top. And I'm embarrassed to say I had noticed right away the threads on that, and that there's a female end in this. And I even thought in my mind, oh look, they're close in size, but it never once occurred to me to screw these into here. And I think the reason my brain just couldn't go there is because they're dissimilar metals. This is a nice finished piece, polished up, would look pretty, and this is just kind of an old trashy piece of rusty iron. But three of y'all came back and matched this to this, and lo and behold, if you just pick it up and screw it in there, put a little oil on that, it fits right in. So they are fireplace tongs, and Ricardo's wife, Maribel, even found on eBay a picture of something very similar. So they are from the 1800s. So they are old. I think they're a little awkward because you have to hold it down here. There's nothing about the design that helps give you any leverage to pick up the wood. But the curiosity to me is that they were in the house, and there are no wood burning or coal burning fireplaces in the house. They're all gas. So this would have served no purpose in the house. My guess is John Samuels collected them because they looked nice, and there would have been a set of fireplace tools. And we did find 2 or 3 of the stands that something like this would sit in. I've actually got one in my car that I brought home to try to restore. I thought it would make a cute umbrella stand at the front of the house. But anyway, that's what they are. Mystery solved. Thanks to everybody that guessed. And I will work on polishing this up and cleaning up and repainting the bottom to restore these and put them next to the fireplace somewhere. But I'm going to keep working on this. We really appreciate everybody who's donated online, gone to the store and bought ornaments. And if you can come out to Dickens, check us out. We will be there all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And another thing you can do that doesn't cost you anything to support us is just share these videos with your friends. We had someone send us a note saying that she had copied all of her friends in Facebook with a note and a link to the video telling them to support us. And darned if almost overnight we got 100 more subscribers. So sharing the word really helps get the message out there. So that's something you can do that's quick and easy. And we really, again, appreciate all your support. You can also like and comments on the video. That helps the YouTube algorithm. And the one thing that really helps the algorithm the most to push it out there is when you see it pop up in your feed, to click on it and watch it immediately. If a returning viewer clicks on something the first time they see it, it really jumps up in the algorithm. So I tell people, even if you don't have time to watch it right then, click on it and turn the sound down and let it play. But doing it fast and early on once it's posted really, really boosts how YouTube pushes that out to new viewers. So thanks for watching. Like I said, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and are getting ready for the holiday season. We'll see you back here next week at the League-Kempner House in Galveston.